Yokoso, Yokoso, Yokoso. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat with me, your host. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Clive Illenden. I hope you are good. I hope you are well. Yes, yes, yes. It is, in fact, episode 100. Can you believe it? Ladies and gentlemen, episode 100. That's 100 episodes of the Stadia Monday Night Chat for your delight and delectation. 100 doses of Stadia Monday Night Chat, where I've been informing, educating, and entertaining you on all things Stadia. Telling you Stadia ain't going nowhere. Because for some people, I have to say it 100 times. Don't. Well, I've certainly had a lot of fun doing the show over the last, 100 eps and stuff, and long may it continue. Certainly, Stadia is hanging around indefinitely, and based on the evidence we found recently this week, as we tend to find every week, but particularly this week, that definitely does seem to be the case. So that means another 100 plus Stadia Monday Night Chats after this one. So let's keep building it, building the audience and all of that. Talking the audience, building the audience and all of that. Remember to hit the likes, as I like it. YouTube likes it. And of course, it helps people like you find great Stadia content like this. And if you're new here, maybe attracted by the headliner that is Sunny Cloud Gaming, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell and all of that, so you will always be informed when I go live with Stadia content like this. As ever, my lovely chat, as ever, let me know what you've been playing this week. Have you been enjoying the Stadia Pro games? I was playing a particular Stadia Pro game just before the show, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. More on that later. So make sure you say hello in the chat, introduce yourselves. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You know, it's like a kind of party, I guess. So grab yourself a little canapé and a drink. Enjoy yourself. Show your love and appreciation in the chat and all of that. We have a great show for you today. There's a lot of Stadia news from last week. Some of it we already touched on, and we'll be looking again in slightly more detail. There's exciting games coming, plus the prospect of even more games from a certain publisher, maybe. Evidence of a new focus that Stadia has on bringing AAA games to Stadia. And of course, all the Stadia news and info we have. But before all that, as ever, I like to dive into the mosh pit at the front of the stage. That is, of course, Stadia Chat, to say hello to you guys. Find out what you've been playing and who's in the front row for the 100th episode. Let's check them out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check them out. Oh, wrong button there. There we go. Let's check them out. There we are. Congratulations, says Mustar S. Thank you for that, Mustar S. Much appreciated. Really like your content. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's get the party started. Don't know about that. Still feeling a bit man flu-y, but I'll do my best. I'll grin and bear it. Metal Wolf's up for the party there. You're never early. You're never early. Yeah, cold showers all round. Whoop, whoop. Oh, 4 scars with the Canadian dollars. Thanks for that. Much appreciated. 4 scars. You're having a bath and shower conversation there. Oh, Jeremy. Wow. Much appreciated. I've really lowered the super chat so we can't get the noise there, but really appreciated with these super chats. Much appreciated. Good evening, Jeff from snowy Canada. Sednar, thank you. Raven Anime, how are you? Lukey6, how you doing, sir? Antonio, yeah, the big hundo. You're talking about it. Yoshida, domo arigato. Yes, indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lugo, how are you, sir? It does mean I'm turning 100. When I were a lad, there were just 22 games on the Stadia platform. I remember them days well. Yeah. Stadia Adventure. Is that going to fit in? Yeah, look. Wow. Doom. Aye, the mischief. Whoop, whoop. Indeed. Dave. From the beginning, Dave. I was watching one of my episode 1s, and you're on there, Dave, saying hi and all of that. Ray, good to see you. Hey, Fat Clemenza, how are you? Yo, yo, yo. What are the adverse events of 100 doses? If you've had 100 doses, it's all over, mate. That's what it is. Yeah. Vom Red. We always get those. Very strange. Inled, how are you? Jerry. Hey, well, I hope it's going to be a good one. You know, there were a few teething problems, but I hope it will be a good one, you know. Thank you for that, Ray. 100 episodes indeed. Liam, lovely to see you, sir. Playing Chutlu Saves Christmas. Of course, I played that on Christmas Day when I was all by myself on Christmas Day that time. All by myself. Never mind. Fallen Order. Finally getting round to it. Oh, Gandara with a super chat there. Look at the super chats there. So thank you, Four Scars Gaming. Thank you, Jeremy. Lovely. And thank you, Gandara, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that. What can I say? Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So just to remind everybody, of course, 100 episodes. So we've got a great show for you today. I hope you're going to enjoy it and all of that. So as I like to say, buckle up, buckle in, and we can sort of really get on with things. And all of that.
Clive.
What? Hey, Sonny, what? Sonny, everybody. Like, what you doing, man? What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi, man. And you're reaching your 100th episode. I mean, oh, geez.
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks, mate. That's really cool. You do know I'm in the middle of a live show, yeah? You know that.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Oh, great. Yeah, lovely. I mean, it's nice of you to come on, you know, but like I'm in mid-flow here. Can't you see, man? I'm flowing. Yeah. So I can get on with my show now, yeah, please? Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Just like pretend like I'm not even here, you know?
Right. Pretend you're not here. Like I can't do the whole show with the biggest Stadia content creator out there looking out over my shoulder. I mean, it's a little bit intimidating, isn't it, folks? Yeah, a little bit. Have you seen your subs and viewership? Yeah? Come on.
I mean,
really?
I can see how that can be a little intimidating. I guess I'll just go.
Yeah. You do that. Yeah, that'd be
All
good.
right,
yeah.
Well, I'll see you around.
Yeah. Whatever, mate. Whatever. Jeez, the cheek of it. Coming on my 100. I'm just in live show. I mean, look, I love the guy and all that, but Jesus. Anyway, where? Oh, I'm all combusted now. Combusted, nonplussed, confused, whatever. Right. Sonny, can you believe that? Sonny on my show. Marvelous. Right. Shall we get on with the news, people? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Well, yeah, thanks for that, Sonny. Confused. Right, where were we before that slightly rude interruption and all of that? Gandara's with the money there. I think we've already spotted that one, so much appreciated. Let's clear that. Right. Okay. I mean, I'm a big fan. You know, I am a big fan, everybody. Big fan. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan. Big fan of his. But in the middle of my live show, legend though he is, you know what I mean? Just coming in here, interrupting me and all that. Jesus. Anyway, as I mentioned, there's a lot of Stadia news last week. We had two unexpected blog posts. You know, Stadia announced more info on the Google Games Summit with specific information about a keynote on Stadia, there's signs of a new blossoming publisher relationship and all of that. I mean, there was so much news last week. In fact, you know what? Hey, Ravenanime has become a member. Thank you. You know, there's so much news last week. In fact, I think there's too much news for one man to handle. One man can't handle the truth. Can't handle that news. I think we might need a helping hand. Yeah. I think we're going to need a helping hand with this one. So just bear with. 1 second. Just bear with. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. What? I thought a bit rude. Yeah, well, I was just in the middle of a show. I mean, you know, we have good chats, but I was in the middle of a show, and then, yeah. All right, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to be so rude. All right, yeah. Look, there's a lot of news. Too much news for one man to handle. that was the joke. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so I was just wondering whether look, I've got this idea. Yeah, it's like for a new show. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's both of us. Yeah, and we'd call it the Clive and what? We'd call it the Clive and the what? Well, okay. I was just doing it in alphabetical order. All right. So I'll swap it around. You'll do it. Okay. That's great. All right. Brilliant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like he's agreed. So I guess without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a simple case of welcome to the Sonny and Clive show. Welcome to the Clive and Sonny show.
No. It's the Sonny and Clive show, sir.
Oh, all right.
That's straight.
Anyway, all right. So, well, let's crack on with it. Sonny's going to be going through the stuff with me, all the news from last week and all of that. So without further ado, let's crack on. Last week saw the announcement of 4 new games coming to Stadia in a Stadia double blog post week. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a non-week too, a bi-weekly
exactly.
week.
Double bonus. Yeah. So 2 games here then. So we had Calico. Most of you are familiar with this. Cat Cafe, anybody? That sounds sort of very different games. These looking at these very sort of different pacing and tone. And the other one, of course, being Lake as well. Both from Whitethorn Games there. But Whitethorn Games, if we looking at their site, make very different sort of a different pace of game, is I say the way that we put it. What do you think about those sort of 2 games coming to Stadia?
I think they're great additions. I was really happy to see it. I actually have been following Lake last year, and to me the game really stood out. Lake did. It just I like games where you just relax. Like there's no pressure. You're just playing and just kind of going through it. And this one's a little simpler. It's like very more narrative based. And I think it's an excellent get, and I was happy about it. And then Calico, I didn't know much about it, didn't hear about this game, and then kind of digging a little deeper, I thought, this looks good. It's there's that, and then what's that one game that everyone reminds of with the animals that's so popular?
Well, Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, there it is. That's the game. It definitely has the Animal Crossing vibes, and that's something we don't have on Stadia. So very, very excited to see both these games. Very.
Yeah. So I mentioned it last week on the show when these games were announced. My daughter plays a cat game on the iPhone. So they're kind of really popular. These sort of, it's sort of casual, real casual, laid back,
very casual
gaming. And it's great to see. And I think, as I said, they are very different games than the ones we're used to perhaps seeing. And I think there was a quote last year from Stadia, and I was trying to find it. I couldn't believe it. So I couldn't find where it was, but there was definitely a quote where they said, we're we're specifically looking to bring a broader range of genres.
It was on a blog post or something.
Yeah. And this definitely represents that.
Didn't think of that, but you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But as I say, so we talked about these games last week, but Stadia wasn't done with the games last week.
No.
So Wired Productions, who brought us Avicii, The Falconeer, and the forthcoming Master Moat Chronicles, teased us midweek of another game coming to Stadia. And they're being right teases, weren't they? I'll just put it up here. Here we go. So they were going here. Look, Stadia news today.
Yep.
I'd recorded my Stadia news TLDR. I was like, oh no, like, do I wait another day?
Always happens.
Do I just guess? I guess, but I guess wrong. So I speculated that it might be Martha is Dead, because we were talking about that earlier, weren't we? There's a lot of buzz about that game. And I thought that'd be quite cool if it was Martha is Dead, because I'd seen some people saying, oh, why is it not on Stadia? It's another good game, blah, blah, blah. But as it turns out, that was not the title. But as I say, to say Martha is Dead isn't coming, well, it might be, and we'll have more on that later. No, the title that they were referring to, of course, was Deliver Us the Moon. Again, I'm not familiar with the game, but looking, doing a little bit of research on it and stuff like that, there's a lot around it. A lot of people seem to like it. It's a sci-fi thriller set in apocalyptic near future where Earth's natural resources are depleted. And in an effort to solve the energy crisis, global powers created the World Space Agency and secured a promising new source of energy on the moon. Of course they did. So I didn't very interesting to see this from Wired Productions.
I would not have guessed this, and I don't know much about the game because it came out in a time where I just wasn't paying. So to me, this was a little like out of left field, but digging deeper into it, I thought, wow, this actually looks pretty decent. Not only that, it's followed by lots of very good reviews from people who have enjoyed it. It's not a pricey game. And it brings a good quality. It looks very like a quality indie game. Essentially, it is an indie game, but it's very quality. Which I liked it. I thought this was awesome to see.
Yeah, so I watched a sort of a mini walkthrough when it sort of came out on Steam. So I was doing some research on it, and graphically, those sort of cutscenes and those initial scenes look really good. And I think the person I was watching was playing it on the Xbox Series X. And it does look really good, and that was in 4K, 30 frames per second, and I think there was a 1080 60 frames per second option. So graphically, I probably expect it to be similar.
I would expect the same
on Stadia, and he was saying it looks really good, and obviously saying if you're playing on a PC with with RTX on and all that kind of stuff, it looks ray tracing. Sorry, it looks really, really good. So graphically, although as you say, it's an indie game, graphically, it's sort of meant to be up there. So a good one to have. And then of course the other game they mentioned. Now this one I'd never heard of.
Yeah, this is an interesting game.
Yes, this is an interesting City of Legends.
City of Legends.
Yeah, and there's a few sort of screenshots here, and I have done some research and sort of looked at the game online, and it's a strange one. So it's a sort of a point and click kind of adventure.
I looked. I talked about it. I said, hey, this is a game. It's a game coming.
It's a game.
It's a game. I didn't have much positive to say about it because what I could find out there wasn't much on it. So I never want to judge a game as even if it on the surface doesn't look like something, because I've been covering indie games for so many years, and sometimes a game will just look like utter crap. There's a game called, I think it's Hero something, and I am drawing a bit of a blank, but if you look at the visuals of some indie games, they're just terrible, they're awful, but what's underneath is just something magical sometimes. And I never want to judge a game, but this one, from the little I did see, I was just kind of like, okay, what's this? Like, what is this? I think it's a mobile game.
Yeah.
So there's we've had mobile games and some really good ones. So I don't have a problem with mobile games.
Rain, was it Rain?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't have a problem with mobile games. It's just this one. I'm not like. It's just not my jam. It doesn't. I don't know. It's something. But
could this be a move? Sorry, yeah. Could this be a move?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here, this says here, the City of Legends. Go back there. The City of Legends: Curse of the Crimson Shadow supports direct touch on Android and iOS mobile devices. So it's not hiding its mobile credentials.
Right.
And could it be, Stadia, like we touched on it earlier about Stadia diversifying into a broader range of games. But if their feedback is that there is a demand and appetite for mobile type games in their greater collection, then could this be an indication that they have a few of these? Because it's that sort of that merging of people say, oh, why don't they make Stadia and Google Play all one thing, and that would solve all the world's problems.
You hear that all the time.
Yeah, and so I'm not sort of talking on that level, but what I'm saying is that there is potentially a sort of crossover when you are presenting a platform that you can play on your mobile phone.
I absolutely think so. Yeah,
certain games certain games look amazing on my LG C1 or whatever, and they play great. Cyberpunk, playing it on it, brilliant, lovely. But other games, like when Rain, I think, when Rain came out,
Rain,
that didn't have touch control, I think, when it came out, and that was quite frustrating because that was like a swipe left, swipe right kind of game, like certain dating apps that people tell me about. I wouldn't know about this at all, but that would have been ideal for that kind of functionality. So I don't know, but I know this has sort of caused it's a game, as you say, but it certainly caused a bit of murmuring amongst the chattering classes within the Stadia community, I think. But as you say, let's not judge it. There are some interesting point and click sort of style games that people seem to kind of really like. It just seems a bit old, the game, a little bit dated, but we will see.
And the publisher is it, who's the publisher for this one? Is this?
Well, this is so this is Legacy Games.
Legacy Games. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. Amazing. But they did Adam Wolf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Adam Wolf.
Okay. So could we be getting a few more PC games?
I think we could, and I think that this is actually kind of a concern of people. If the 100 games coming out, are we going to be getting a lot of these types of? I guess they're called hidden object games.
Yeah, hidden object games, card tiles.
Yeah, and I hear that. I hear that thought. It's something interesting, but I think you're bringing up kind of a good point I didn't even think about. Maybe this is a potential transition.
I'm looking forward to True Love. Yeah, I can't. In fact, I'm going to petition that they release True Love here, the 5-pack, just to wind up Reddit.
Oh God, yeah, that'd be great.
So Legacy Games, if you're listening, please bring out True Love.
True Love.
There's 5 packs here. Romance with Chocolate.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my God.
Dream Day, Wedding Bella Italia. So yeah, the Reddit mob will love this game. Definitely, Legacy, bring it. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But yeah, no, it's interesting. And it does sort of start that conversation. Oh no! If as you say, if this is all they're going to bring, like 100 crappy mobile type games, and just indie games, of course, completely dismissing the value of indie games offered to the gaming industry generally. But all of that, people sort of don't look that far ahead. But we have seen both these games, by the way, not True Love, but
Clive announced True Love coming to Stadia.
Yeah, it's official.
Exclusive.
Yeah. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god. But yeah, both those games, City of Legends and Deliver the Moon, are coming in April. But in the sort of the greater conversation about AAA games, we have seen something interesting, and you spotted it on. You told me you spotted it on Reddit, didn't you?
On Reddit, yeah.
And it was a new job posting. Now, I'm always a bit with these job postings. I'm always worried that how old they are, whether we've seen them before. But this one definitely is new, and it is Stadia porting. And this probably
building their little team over there, by the way.
Yeah, and this is in London as well. And that's why I know it's new, because most of the jobs that I've talked about on this show, and I'm sure you've talked about, they've either been in New York or LA or California, or whatever, or Toronto, I think.
California, Canada's right. Yep.
Yeah. And I know there is one guy I'm aware of who does work in the London office, but these are in London, so I know they're new. And what's particularly interesting is this: so this is software engineer Stadia porting, not game stream porting. Yeah, not Google Stream porting, Stadia porting. They've talked about this before. We've seen it on presentations and stuff here. The Stadia porting team seeks to drastically reduce or even eliminate the work required for partners to bring their existing. And look, I think somebody fell over the typewriter when they on the keyboard here, and it went into caps lock, and they must have hit A 3 times by mistake, because this is Stadia, isn't it? So I think they meant to put games, and somebody fell on the keyboard, I think, and put AAA games, because surely that can't be right.
I know.
And interestingly here, as if I didn't mention it, people would point it out to me, Stream is included in there.
Google
as well,
Stream's included,
but to Stadia and Google Stream. So this idea of porting, or drastically reducing the porting time and eliminating the work, is a bit of a theme that we're seeing, because we'll touch on it later. But the Google for Developers conference, there's a whole section about eliminating the kind of work almost to bringing games to Stadia, and this seems to be feeding into that. So they're hiring specifically. This is a Stadia job to bring AAA games to Stadia, and obviously to help partners if they want to set up their own streaming channels to bring their AAA games to their channel or whatever it is they're going to do. Right. So that's it's quite positive, that they specifically targeting AAA games here.
I mean, it's right there written.
Yeah.
In just plain sight, AAA games.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah.
Like, that's just it's a new job listing. It's in your face. It's telling you that Stadia is seeking to get these AAA games on here to be ported over with as little as work as possible. And that's still an aim. So I know a lot of chatter is going to come out of, and rightfully so. Listen, I don't want to dismiss people who maybe are starting. And listen, I totally get it. This year so far, first 3 months, there's a lot of beautiful, gorgeous games out there that, people really, really want to play. And I'm there with those folks. But at the same time, a lot of these games as well aren't on every service either. There's no Elden Ring on anything cloud related. So it's one of those things, man, where it's great to see this. And right alongside you see these games like the ones we just talked about, those hidden object games, and you go, well, what's happening? Or is this all we're ever going to get? Well, no, you can see it's AAA games are still coming. When they're coming, that's the questions we all have. But I mean, I haven't been worried. I hope we don't see like 30 of those types of games, but even if a couple, they might be a good market for. Like, there might be stuff we just don't know about. And by the way, there's another piece of news. There was this thing that came out that was noticed today, and I'm sorry, I'm just bringing it up now, but and I don't know if you saw.
It's not in the script. I'll collapse. What you do?
There's I don't know, and we have to look into it more, because even I'm need a little more information. It's on my Discord, and apparently they did like a survey of how many gamers, what they game on.
Oh yes, yes. No, I
Shocking.
do know
Did
what
you see
know.
that?
Yes, yes.
So there was,
It was in the UK.
It was the UK,
Yeah.
UK 0.8%. And I think everyone was surprised because that's a little more than we thought. And that was just 300. It came out to like 300 plus thousand people.
Yeah. And
So
I think that was also, again, so this was a sort of an industry report, sort of
okay.
give an indication of where the industry is, as I understand it, the actual report, to give a sense of, just to give some data behind where people are gaming and stuff. And I think it was if I remember rightly, it's their main gaming. Yeah. So not a secondary sort of gaming, but where their their main gaming is a 0.8%. We said it's a 1%
equaled hundreds
business.
of thousands of people. And that's just UK.
Yeah, it's about 350,000 people it sort of equated to. So that's sort of a back of a cigarette calculation there, but it's roughly 350k people to say that they're in the UK. This is just UK, are saying that their main way of gaming is via Stadia.
And there might have been some good data on a game like Reigns that showed off.
Yeah, exactly.
That did well.
Yeah.
And so these developers come to the board and go, hey, you have some numbers, some internal numbers, and hey, it looks like these types of games do pretty well. You think about it, when you're on a platform like Stadia, especially as an indie developer, or even maybe some of these mobile games, you're getting kind of some noise you would not get anywhere else, period, because it's very amplified when you drop your game on Stadia. So yeah, there it is. You have it up now. And so I would not be shocked that there's definitely a market. My only concern would be if, and again, I don't want to judge these games until I get them in my hands and I'm playing them. If they're starting to be kind of like when Nintendo, that is where Nintendo is just terrible, where they have nothing but shovelware.
Yeah.
You don't want too much of that. So
you want it curated, don't you? You want, in a way,
right?
You want Stadia to sort of be a gatekeeper it's a balance between them getting games and a wide variety of games that people want to play, but also being a gatekeeper. And not in the same as you say, potentially with Nintendo, where they just open the floodgates and then you just get a wide range of quality. The thing about Stadia is the quality of games is quite narrow in terms of they curate it quite well.
It's very high quality. Across the board.
Yeah, so that's a really cool thing. So here we are, meet the games consumer, UK statistics. Smartphone is the most popular device used for playing games. So the fact that the smartphone is the most, popular for playing games helps keep Stadia ticking over. Then sure, we'll take a few City of Legends. Do you know what I mean? If there's a market for it, as long as you say that doesn't become the dominant form. But from that job listing, they absolutely know there is a demand for AAA games, and it's just that investment question.
Oh, and then another thing is the surveys, right? People are probably putting what they're looking for, and they're looking for that feedback. So if all this is like in a vacuum, Yep.
So top devices used for playing games, and here you got smartphones at 30%, computers 24%, nerds, and static video game consoles 20%, handheld game console, 9%, tablet 7%, smart internet connected TV apps 2%. So that's across a broad range of apps there, and then Google 0.8%, and then I think somebody calculated based on the sort of number of gamers in the marketplace in the UK that it equated to about 350,000 odd people who openly admitted to gaming on Stadia in the UK. And we said it's like a 1% business, and that would back that up. And again, these figures probably, I don't know how current
and
they are.
What's cool about this too?
Yes, sorry. So just to qualify these, it's from August 21, so it's growing.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say to amplify this a little bit. Those numbers you just had there, all those mobile, all those tablet, And all those theoretically, I'm not going to even add the PC. Let's just put mobile and tablet
Yeah.
can all jump into cloud gaming, can jump into Stadia. And as this grows, as the library grows, as it starts to be more widely adopted, you have that big percentage you see there that could transition easily right into that. So there's just so much positive, so much net gain that can happen. It's almost mind blowing, really.
Yeah. So it was just interesting figures there. So so I'm just also back on the jobs actually. Here, so this graphics, so there's other job here. There's also newish. Software engineer graphics Stadia. So this is interesting as well, because this role is specifically research and develop technology solutions for future-facing platform graphics needs. Assist Stadia partners with graphics optimizations to hit performance goals.
Wow.
So the other job, bring in the AAA games, because people complain there aren't enough AAA games on Stadia. So there's a job, brand new job listing, posting specifically about making it easier to bring AAA games, as they spell it out, to Stadia. The next complaint is, oh, why is this only 30 frames per second? And, it's not optimized and whatever. I'm quite right, when we know that there is power there. Another role here specifically to assist Stadia partners with graphics optimization to hit the performance goals. Both very positive, proactive roles to help potentially address issues that we hear on a regular basis on, Reddit or wherever, on Twitter, and people in the community, people discussing these things. So very encouraging on that front, I'd say.
I think it's awesome to see they're building out this team. We've been talking about it here, you and I, for like a long time. Have their own team do this. Have their own, they had a whole separate studio who did the Cyberpunk porting. Have your own team help out and do this, because we know Stadia is capable of 4K 60 on AAA demanding games. It's been the problem of it takes time to get that 4K 60 up and running super smooth. Well, that takes development time, right? So they've been making that process easier. Now they're even hiring for more roles. I mean, it's just coming together. Maybe it's not coming at the rate everyone would like it, but it's coming together, and it's good to see.
Yeah, and I think what you want really is somebody you can parachute in. So I think on some of the games that have hit really, really high level performance levels are games where the Stadia team have gone there. So some early games, and they were and embedded themselves within the developer team. You know what I mean? And that's what you want. So if you have a role like this, specifically there to parachute in, or to to save having to parachute in a way, by just providing the tools and the information at easily accessible for developers to say, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you optimize it. We've brought these new elements, new tools and stuff to do that. So yeah, very, very good indeed. Also, interestingly enough, though, so that was announcement of those two games before we got sidetracked. But interesting, what was not in the blog post when announcing those two games, but was in the press release for the blog post, was a little line hinting at maybe something next week. So this is the press release that sort of accompanies the blog post, just saying about the two new games arriving April 2022. Deliver Us the Moon, yeah. City Legends, Curse of the Crimson Shadow, yeah. That's 4 games revealed this week. And then here, expect more games next week too.
Yeah.
So that wasn't in the blog post, I believe, but it is in the press release. So could we be seeing more game announcements next week? We know we've got some games being released, but this sounds like more game announcements rather than announcing stuff that we already know about.
Right.
So yeah, very, very interesting. Let's talk about Wired Games very briefly, who are bringing us, of course, Deliver Us the Moon, and as I mentioned, brought Falconeer and Avicii. it appears that this could be the first of many new announcements from Wired Productions, because not only have Wired Productions been defending Stadia on Twitter, and I couldn't find the response, but somebody was being a bit trolly, and they came out, and they weren't the only developer. Came out and sort of said nope, or whatever it was, or no, that's it. They came out and said the Stadia community is growing, and it's a great community, and that's from a developer. Well, it's actually from a publisher, which is really, really encouraging. So I just thought, that just offhand, that's nice in itself. But they also set up a specific Stadia area in their Discord.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's put that on the screen for you. So they go here. We love. See, they're wearing it on their sleeve here. We love at Google Stadia. This is before they announced Deliver Us to the Moon. But you know what we love even more? The Stadia community. We thought we could really show some love back to them. That's why we have a part of the Discord just for Stadia chat. So they created on their own Discord channel. And then they were teasing the Deliver Us to the Moon here later on. So this was sort of a week or so ago. They've set up their own Stadia channel on Discord, which I thought, well, that's really nice. And then this was prior to the announcement of Deliver Us to the Moon, but it did seem a little bit overkill, unless it's all part of a cunning plan. Well, it just might be the case, because there's been some conversations going on that Discord with Wired Productions and various people from the Stadia community, and I think it hints at things to come. So there's this little conversation here. Lovely Ninja Guy X says, what if every single, so this is before they announced Deliver Us to the Moon, what if every single Wired Productions games gets released on Stadia? Shock face. And Wired Steve said, we're not announcing that. Oh, disappointment all around. But that really is the long-term plan. So this is Wired Productions saying, yep, that's our plan. We're intending to bring as much as we can of our catalog to Stadia. That's from Wired Productions saying that. So that's very encouraging. And then there was a further conversation piece. Me, because I don't just go by one sort. I like to, to back it up. I'm backing myself up here, man. That doesn't sound very good. I should. Right, here we go. And the conversation rest here. Somebody asked, so 1030 here, Miss 1030. He's got a different name in the chat. If you're in the chat, I know you are. I can't remember what your different name is. We're becoming good friends with Wired Productions. So the question I asked was, what brought, and I'm asking it as well, what brought about the reason for the Discord server for Stadia? Was it, the Falconeer? Was it the rumored ease of delivering ports to the platform, or something else? And Wired responded here, we're becoming good friends with the Stadia team and are working to bring more Wired games. And to be honest, we love the community, which is really sweet. But the important thing here is we are good buddies, good friends with Stadia team. So there's this relationship with Stadia that's clearly being established.
Yep.
They're working to bring more Wired games, which reinforces what was said earlier, that they hope to bring as many games to Stadia as possible. So real love there from Wired Productions. Have we like an outright games type relationship going on here?
And I think we absolutely do. And I think it's awesome, because going through the list of games they have, like you said, is it Martha's Dead? Yeah. Some other games here that they don't have, Those Who Remain, like these are games that are quality. These are quality indie titles. I mean, like Delivers to the Moon, one could even say what, maybe even double A type of game. I mean, it's these are not your normal indie games. These are not like the ones that just jump out and you go, okay, it's, you know, very pixelated, very like, no, these are pretty high quality games, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, so
so I'm very happy about this.
This is a conversation here. Are you planning to release Syndrome or Those Who Remain to Stadia? And their response was, might be coming to Stadia, yes.
There
Which
it is.
again just reinforces what we've just been saying before in terms of them saying, you know, their intention to bring as many games as possible. We can have a quick look. We have a look at their catalog here. So obviously Martha is Dead on multi-platform. A lot of buzz around that. That would be great to see.
And it's getting good reviews. So
yeah, it'd be great to see on Stadia. Lamote, we know, is coming on the 24th.
High quality puzzle game.
Yeah. Somebody asked about Pool Nation. That won't be coming. It's only on one platform. And I think the reason the response was they inquired, Wired Productions this is, when somebody asked them, oh, you bring Pool Nation. That's a licensing issue.
Oh, okay.
So obviously they've got some sports rights in there, and it's probably very narrow. Maybe specifically, if you look at all these other titles, they're very multi-platform titles, whereas Pool Nation is just PS4. So that would suggest to me there's very restrictive license that they secured there for that. I heard somebody talking about Shaq Fu recently.
Yeah, Shaq Fu. I just saw that on your.
Yeah, I just saw that. I'm sure page. I saw somebody. Yeah.
Shaq Fu would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, there's Those Who Remain. Falconeer, of course. Avicii, we know. Delivers the Moon is coming. Look, it's got the little Stadia logo already on it. Let's see if they made any mistakes. Yeah, Stadia logo there. Okay, no mistakes. Accidentally reveal, or we can have an exclusive reveal. No, they're good. Okay. Let's Fish, Hooked On. Okay, not quite sure about the graphic design on that one. But yeah, some interesting games, as I say. So that would be really interesting if we start seeing this catalog come to Stadia, because, you know, the Falconeer was a quality game. Lamote looks like a quality game. Deliver Us the Moon looks like a real quality game. Avicii, I loved. Great game.
There's a racer they have called Grip Combat Racing.
Yeah.
This one.
There's like a bit like what's this? What's the classic PlayStation game? Really with music and really fast.
Twisted Metal or
Flip Out? No.
No. Okay. No.
Anyway,
this is futuristic. This one. It looks good. Yeah.
But then you can go on the ceiling by looks things.
Yeah.
Twin stick action there with Vostok. So yeah, so there's a chance that I may still be correct about Martha is Dead coming to Stadia. So as I say, I think we've definitely got a sort of an outright games, and it's good that they're forming, you know, Stadia are forming these relationships. That's what you got to do, is form a relationship with, you know, not just deal with one game at a time. It's like it's form a relationship with a developer or a publisher, so that there's a pipeline of games.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah, and it goes back to what I said earlier. Here's the thing: you're an indie developer, and you get your game on Nintendo Switch or Steam, they're gonna be drowned out. It's insane the amount of shovelware, and then people on Xbox and PlayStation just don't really care. So your game stands out on.
Yeah, you put it in Stadia Pro.
Oh, you put it in Stadia Pro, even better.
Everybody plays it, you know. So yeah. It's a good introduction to your game, you know.
Very good. No.
So
and then not
go on.
Even in coverage, if you even YouTube coverage, somebody will cover an indie game, and somebody else could cover it somewhere else on a different platform. Nobody will care. Even then, your game gets pushed out. I've noticed that in the past too with certain games. So there's just so many benefits to being an indie developer and putting your game on Stadia.
Yeah, so I've talked about. So we talked, you know, off air briefly about it, but I sort of said the incentive for the indies is probably a lot greater because there's a value for getting out of bed, as it were. And if you're a small indie, and your game has potential to earn 50 grand, 100 grand, or whatever it is, or even less, it's to your bottom line. That's somebody's salary or whatever it is, or it's a real value.
Yep.
If you're a massive publisher, you will have in your accounts department people who do the investment analysis, and unless it's instantly making several million pounds straight out the gate, you're not getting out of bed for it. So it's a kind of a balance between Stadia sort of throwing money at triple A's, which you're going to big publishers, which you're going to do that when you're starting out because you want to get games on the platform, but you can't sustain that. You want to get it where the baby washes its face, as sort of Scandinavians would say. It's like, it has to start, sort of just being profitable,
Right.
or at least justifying its expense. And I think for indies, that equation is becoming easier to make because of the new business model and stuff like that. And then hopefully that then does free up a bit more money potentially for Stadia then to go, okay, let us sort of laser focus on a few key AAAs, FIFA, Madden. Let's put all the attention on those. Those can be the tentpole film, like movies, the big summer blockbusters. And then we can sort of, fill the rest with a sort of a mix of genres and interesting games. Plus we've got Ubisoft, so they'll keep bringing out the big AAAs as well. So then you get a nice sort of pattern of stuff going across the year.
Flow.
And that's the key thing. You get a steady flow of games. So talking of steady flow, not that really makes any sense whatsoever, but House of the Dead. So we saw this was rated, wasn't it, about a week or so ago on ESRB for Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
But I came across here that it was announced the remake is coming to Nintendo Switch on April the 7th.
I got that press email.
Yeah, so since it's been rated for Stadia, could Stadia be seeing it in April as well?
I would be shocked if we didn't now, just because of the timing of all that.
Or
I would be shocked if it wouldn't come day and date with Nintendo because of the timing of the rating and everything. Yeah,
Stadia Pro.
Funny because my old YouTube channel is would get press emails for every entertainment, so I was able to see the press email, and it was even embargoed. And it says April 7th, the game goes live.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking, you never know, it could be a pro title. If you look at
maybe an early situation. Yeah, exactly.
Dawn of the Monsters came out, good 2 weeks before the rest. But anyway, so look out for that. Could we be seeing the House of the Dead? I still don't know how. I saw some more footage of it actually. In fact, there was a list. It's further down here. So it's got local 2-player multi. So we don't know for sure this would be on Stadia as well in terms of the breakdown of what the game has, but we can assume so. Local 2-player multiplayer, which I think you want, don't you?
Yeah.
Because that was the whole fun of the arcade game. You were both sort of standing next to each other in the arcade, shooting the screen. Multiple endings, photo mode, achievements, armory with unlockable weapons, hordes of the undead monstrosities in a new game mode, and gallery with encountered enemies and bosses. That's a sort of breakdown of what's in the remake.
Yep, it's in their features. And I talked a little bit about this game. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one because I guess you're going to have to move the cursor with the gamepad. I know the Switch, I feel like it does make sense with the Joy-Con. So we'll see how it plays on Stadia. Definitely a game for me, a lot of nostalgic for sure.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like yourself, like how's it actually gonna work?
It's gonna work exactly like that. We're gonna be dragging the thing along. So, but if it's a classic, and hey, if it's something that you want to jump into in your home, because this I know you'd have to play back and you have to play in an arcade somewhere. So yeah, I mean it looks fun. It does look fun. Just we'll see how fun it will be with the gamepad. That's the question. But the game itself looks fun. So yeah.
Okay, so we previously discussed on the show, and I know you've discussed it as well, that obviously there's the forthcoming Google for Games Developer Summit um, coming, and I talked about it last week on the show, and how there were some interesting talks that we've touched on here today around Stadia and porting, and the fact that Karine Yap, head of strategic partnership at Stadia, is one of the people that were featured in the group of people that sort of part of the keynote speech and all that kind of stuff. But what is really interesting this week is that Stadia themselves actually promoted the event on Twitter, which we've not really seen before.
Nope.
Got any plans on March the 15th? If you didn't already, you do now. Mark your calendars, Stadians. It's official. That's what we're called now, isn't it? It's a fact.
Yeah.
Stadians. You're invited to join us at the 2022 Google for Games Developer Summit, where you can learn. This is the key sentence, ladies and gentlemen. So please pay attention. If the person next to you is looking at their phone or anything, give them a shove in the ribs and all that kind of stuff. This is the important thing. This is what you'll be tested on in your exam at the end of the year. Okay, where you can learn more about our plans for Stadia this year. So they're being explicit about, I mean, we know they'd be talking about, this is what we're doing behind the scenes with Stadia. Here's some, interesting techie talk about some of the things you can do to get your game on Stadia. We know that, but this is Stadia being on the sort of front foot, as it were, specifically talking about their plans for Stadia. And then not only that, they've done a Stadia developer blog post as well here. So this wasn't here before, where they go into a bit more detail. And it says, kicks off here 9 a.m. Pacific time, March the 15th, followed by over 20 developer sessions. So we've looked at some of those developer sessions before, but specifically, these are 5 Stadia specific sessions. Now, what we didn't know before is that actually Karine Yap will be giving a specific keynote speech on Stadia as part of the kickoff. And she will be sharing the latest on how we're improving the Stadia platform for developers and publishers. Real focus on developers and publishers, and I mean that's who the audience is, but how they're trying to make it easier to bring the games to Stadia. And I imagine just as last year, where she sort of said, this is where we've been, this is where we're going, and they introduced the new business model for developers and publishers, and introduced sort of new sort of porting and reducing the sort of,
and the pro model as well.
QA business, and the Stadia Pro model, all of that. So it will probably be on a similar basis. So it's not so much. So in a way, I would have expected this. But what's interesting is that Stadia have come out and said in public, on Twitter, come and join us, and you'll find out our plans for the year. And there is a specific, keynote, because I did see a certain publication a few weeks ago talk about, the Google for Games Developer Summit is coming, and by the looks of things, they'll be just talking about the white labeling stuff. And I thought, have you not read the sessions? There's at least 3 sessions I've read which are Stadia specific, but they just cherry picked one particular session and just said, yeah, this will all just be about white labeling. Well, no, this absolutely just undermines that that perspective. There is very specific talk about Stadia platform, what they're doing for developers and publishers, and then these sort of 4 different sessions specifically about porting, one of which we talked about as well. But this, creating a Windows emulator, so you don't have to port a Windows game; it just sort of happens magically, which is really cool. But yeah, so very interesting, as I say, that Stadia have come out and are sort of pushing this. And is this an indication of Stadia trying to sort of own the narrative a bit more, be on the front foot, in terms of, we're not, Stadia's not dead, it's not closing, we're not going anywhere, all that kind of stuff. But by constantly sort of pushing, we've seen some more, we've seen recently a slightly more, not overly aggressive approach from Stadia, but certainly a more positive approach from Stadia recently in some of their tweets and stuff like that. But this is Stadia promoting, themselves, being on the front foot, trying to control the narrative, basically sky bombing the Stadia is closing and it's all about white labeling kind of nonsense that exists. And I see this as a very sort of positive thing from Stadia.
Yeah, I think this is exactly that. Actually, I think if anyone thinks that Stadia highlighting this and promoting it equals we're going to get game announcements or anything like that, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. It's going to be kind of what last year was, which I thought last year was very informative, and for me, kind of just reaffirmed the things I was believing before that summit as to what was going on, because you see the actions they do behind the scenes, you see it with the job listings. We're very connected into all these things, and so I'm expecting kind of more of the same this year. But I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is more of a highlight to sit there and say, this is happening, this is going to continue to show what we're doing as a platform going forward, and we're hoping to take control of the narrative. And I think you nailed it perfectly. I think that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do, Sonny, I agree. And I think what's also interesting is if we reflect on I always say on my show, and I hear you saying on the show, is Stadia can say something and then it's about the actions. And I plot, they say something, and then a few months later we see that they plant the seed, and then we see those the results of that. And last year they spoke specifically about making it easier to bring games to Stadia, changing the business model up, and we've seen that in the developer blog, Stadia developer blog, a few weeks ago. There was those two quotes, one from Outright Games, the other one from Akapura, I can't remember. Anyway, both
winemaking,
both saying really positive things about Stadia, and the results exceeded their expectations and stuff like that. So Stadia said what they were planning to do, and over the year, and there's clearly been results from that. So whatever they say this year, we can plot and follow, and hopefully they will also produce results. And given the new jobs as well,
real quick, I was gonna say on a side note real quick, and I wanted to mention this earlier. Winemaking Simulator, the developers, I don't know how to say the name, but Akapura something. They have gone on record on multiple things, and have said how amazing the Stadia Pro model is, how it's worked out for them. They have made money. They have literally said they have made really good money off of it. And they have been just praising everything. So a lot of what we saw in that last year's summit ended up coming into fruition. We saw it, and then the developers have come out and now have said how everything from what had came out last year was positive. So just something to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a quick because it was actually on the blog.
Yeah.
Just while I've got it here. Again, which is all parts of these, because I remember, so it was a couple of weeks ago that they published about 2 or 3 blog posts on the Stadia developer blog.
Yeah.
So here we are. Yeah, here's that quote we're talking about here. Akupara Games, we've launched 2 of our titles, Grime and The Dark Side Detective, very different games, very different. Both performed well in both of terms of finance and player reception. Stadia Pro seems to benefit a wide variety of titles, regardless of style and replayability. So there was a question, some people saying about
it says Stadia on their finance on that little paragraph.
Yeah, in terms of finances and player reception.
Because I wasn't even getting that information from that, and I didn't even know that. I don't remember what was on those quotes. They went on a podcast, those developers, and really laid it out. It was a German German podcast, and they laid it out, and it was pretty eye-opening in regards to how beneficial it's been for them to be on Stadia monetarily and everything. And so it's kicked off their game. So they've had nothing but praise and love for Stadia, and that's kind of what I'm trying to tell people. It's like,
Yeah.
you're building this library, and yeah, there's indie games, but you got to start with that. You got to start with different types of games of all kinds, and I think it's a good thing.
And I think, so I think their announcement of the Stadia Pro incentives and the new business model, last year is definitely, as you say, it's bearing fruit, and publishers are seeing a positive result. The same here with Outright saying, it's allowed titles to thrive within their ecosystem. Seen a fantastic amount of engagement with our games, with revenue that went above our expectations. So it's working. And these developer blog posts, they sort of suddenly publish two or three in a short space of time. These are specifically aimed at the industry.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is a reference for others. Yes. I don't want to think of what you were saying, but it's a reference. You're seeing these quotes. That's going to show other people who are interested, hey, is this worth it? Well, you're getting it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and I said earlier, the incentive for a small developer or publisher to get your title on here, if it's getting results, those results are massive to you compared to, say, a massive publisher. If you're a 2-man indie, company, then you're going to get instant results like this, then you're on it. You're in like Flynn, as they say.
And then guess what? You end up going to more countries with more people, all on this subscription model, because there's a good chance they might not buy the games outright. They're just not going to spend that. But if you're on Stadia Pro and you're getting all these developed, you're getting all these good references, it's just going to add up, snowball, get bigger, and it's just going to continue to take off. When all that continues to happen, then of course the incentive for even the bigger fish to come down board will happen. If you're not seeing all this, guys, that's why we're explaining it on this show. This is what's going on, guys.
Exactly. Come on, the biggest brains in the Stadia community here. You still don't get it. It's like an intervention. It's like both parents are here. We're not divorcing. Okay, we'll scotch those rumors. We've had a few problems. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's very interesting. I just want to share this. I don't know if you've seen them before. I was doing some research, and these are some original designs from as I believe it was a 200-page sort of document introducing sort of central. They had it's from a graphics sort of company who was sort of tasked with coming up with the Stadia identity and branding. And here are some early versions. See the wavy S there.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
I kind of like the box colors, but I don't know about the logo itself.
Yeah. Well, there's more. So there's the logo.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's the bump? Is it like a like?
That's a good thing they scrapped that.
Yeah. Also, if you squint, it looks a bit like perhaps let's not go there, but if I say it, you'll see it, and then you'll be going. And then, so these are other designs.
These I liked.
Yeah, they look a bit dated already, though.
They do look dated, but I like this one a little more. Maybe not in the cube or something. I don't know. This one had a little more creativity to it.
Yeah, and then look, you see the game you could put the game in the.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. That these kind of these design. I think they got it right.
I think I was gonna say they settled there. I think they got it. They got it correct.
Yeah, definitely. You got to go through a few. Got to go a few trials and stuff and things like that. But yeah, it was just something I kind of stumbled across, and I thought, all right, okay, interesting. It's interesting how these sort of branding goes through these different different phases and all of that. But yeah, definitely, I think they got it right. I think they got colors right. I don't know, the controller. This is the little S on the controller and everything. Just it just wouldn't work. One of those sort of wavy things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the I was going to say that was the Clive and Sonny. No, the Sonny and Clive show. As we look through the the various news of the week. So I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you found that useful. Let us know in the chat and all of that. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found that interesting. I had a great time talking to Sunny, of course, and all of that. Just to break the illusion, that was, of course, recorded at the weekend. So, sorry, special effects and all of that. Sorry to break the illusion if you thought it was live. That's the magic of television or YouTube. And apologies for the video quality as well. That's my bad. I think my kids were hogging the broadband when I recorded it. But massive, massive thank you and shout out to the wonderful, wonderful Sunny for doing that for me. I know he was a little bit under the weather. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I wanted... I would have been wanting to do it with Sunny for a long time, and I thought the 100th episode was perfect for it. So make sure you subscribe to Sunny, of course, because he doesn't have many subscribers. He's new, he's starting out, and all of that. No, honestly, to be honest, I can't believe anyone watching this isn't already subscribed to Sunny. But hey, if you're not, then why not? I mean, YouTube tells me that most of my Stadia viewers have also watched Sunny Cloud Gaming, Kel Surprise. Anyway, let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed that. And, maybe you want to see more of the Clive and Sunny. I mean, the Sunny and Clive show. Apparently the title order is contractual. Yeah, apparently. There is also a separate interview I did with Sunny all about him and his gaming background and why he started making Stadia content, etc., etc. So look out for that very, very soon. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is in time for chat. So you guys have been absolutely buzzing away. But let me know. I mean, I think, it was a really, there's some really positive stuff coming out about Stadia. The pieces are moving. I mean, they're always moving, but, by now, if you don't see the lack of veracity in that Business Insider's piece earlier in the year now, if you don't see how what Stadia is doing sort of undermines that, then, well, you're going to have to watch another 100 episodes of this, quite frankly. But yeah, exactly. Struggle boxing. I love that. It was a great chat, I have to say. Sunny's a great guy, and it was a really good chat. And the interview I did with him afterwards as well, really, really good. Yeah, Consigno, it doesn't get much better, doesn't it? Sunny and Clive, yeah, and the same. It's like a super group. That's how it is. Big conversation about Dark Souls type games. Yeah. So, Dave, I started playing Adam Wolf this evening, and I really enjoyed it as well. I was really enjoying it. I was playing it on the as well, like people saying it was a mobile game. I'm playing it on the LG C1, and it looks great. I'm getting drawn into the story, which just goes to show that if in any form of entertainment, it just has to be engaging. You can play like with pixel blocks, or state of the art, human realistic graphics, or a click and So bring true love, yeah, Legend Games, whatever. Bring true love to Stadia now. Yeah, Lo-Fi saying it was a surprise. Dating Sims. Exactly. A lot of creativity comes from indies. Phil did, in fact, move back to London. 1 second. It's getting a bit blocked up then. Yeah, he probably does. He's probably working out in the London office, so why not get some local people around him to focus laser focus, because that's what he's got to be doing. Really, he needs to be. He has the industry relationships. He's the one that should be talking, with EA and Take-Two and stuff like that, while everybody else sort of builds those, indie partnerships, because there's plenty of indie games that went on, Among Us and stuff like that, and ended up being massive. Yeah, it will be interesting to see if this sort of... They've obviously clearly listened. I think they made the right decision to go to sort of a Linux type base because of licensing and stuff like that on that side of it and future-proofing it. But obviously that initial difficulty and porting process and develop, which we've heard has improved dramatically. They've heard the feedback, Google have heard the feedback, and they're working on trying to improve it and speed up that process so that we do get more games, and that investment decision becomes a lot easier because you're not having to spend a lot of, person hours on porting the game. Exactly. I'm quite happy with, Elden Ring, like Sonny said, it's not even on any cloud platform. But if it, a game like that comes a few months later, if it has to, then fine. Stadia Adventure asking for all those indie games. Yeah. Hope you enjoy Batman. Yeah, make them look. Yeah, exactly. It's because it's not just them concentrating on the AAAs. It's like, not only that, on one hand, it's bring the AAAs. On the other hand, optimize them. So one person to focus on the tools and on optimizing the GPU and CPU and graphic, the graphic fidelity of the games, and one person concentrating on bringing the game, sort of thing. So absolutely, MM2K. I thought Sonny was a member. He must have lapsed. Must have lapsed. Yeah, I mean they've said there were issues initially. That Ryan Bartlett, in that talk he did, said initially even within the QA process, it was really difficult. But they've already reduced it, and I think they're constantly going to be improving that. Not a fan of Martha then. Ooh. Exactly. Wipeout. That was the game. I just couldn't. Oh, didn't come to mind. Couldn't think what it was. Yeah. You know what, Jerry? That is not a bad idea. Maybe I'll put it to Sonny. Sonny and Cher. Yeah, exactly. Sonny and Cher. Sonny and Clive. Exactly. Sounds like a bad name, a band name. Yeah, well, it is. We're a super group. It's like a mini super group, a super duo. Yeah. But I like that. We should do, sort of have a debrief every so often. And I'll make sure that my kids aren't watching Netflix and YouTube all at the same time and playing games while I'm trying to record with the biggest Stadia content creator in the out there in the YouTube land. And all of that. Really? Oh, sooner. I shouldn't have shattered that illusion for you. Normally, it's much more seamless, but it was quite hard to make it as seamless as I normally make it. We are indeed a techie bunch. Anyway, Scream Connect. Very good. You're on fire today, Stadia Adventure. Oh. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I hope you found that useful. And I say, let me know if you enjoyed that, especially the chat with Sonny. Would you like to see Sonny and I do some more stuff, as Jerry mentioned, every so often? Hey, I'd definitely be up to it. I can talk to Sonny about it if you like, and all those sort of things. I want to give a massive shout out again to Sonny for doing that. I know he wasn't feeling too well. And as I say, I was a little bit under the weather as well. So I really, really appreciate him making the effort to sort of do this for me. It meant a lot. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I really appreciated it. Massive, massive thank you to all of you in the chat. It was really busy. Apologies if I missed some of your highlights. Nick's, they do indeed have big hitters like the big movies throughout the year. Just some. But yeah. Anyway, make sure you come back same time, same place next week when we will be doing episode 101, Room 101, episode 101. Have a wonderful week. Look out for potentially new games coming this week and all of that. And I shall see you around. Make sure you check out the Stadia TLDR, hopefully midweek. I'm sure we're going to have some more news and things like that, and potential more game announcements, things like that. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you around very, very soon. Thank you and goodbye.